when my relatives admired the extravagant selection of gourmet meat dishes, exclaiming, "Wow, this looks delicious! So fancy!" My stomach churned. Yet in front of me there was only a single cup of tea. My mother-in-law peered from behind the door with a smug smile, her expression almost childishly gleeful. Typical. Even today, she couldn't resist tormenting me. I muttered, "It's been so long since the family gathered. Shouldn't a meal this good be shared with everyone?" Her glare was icy, but I knew it was time to take action. I'm Sarah, 35 years old, working in an office and living with my husband, Jake, the youngest of 3 brothers. Jake is kind, laid back, and we've been married for 5 years. We don't have children yet, though I'm trying to conceive. Every time I see my mother-in-law, she asks, "Still no grandkids?" I've been careful with my health, making sure to sleep well, eat right, and keep track of timing. But there's one problem: if I have a child, I'll probably need her help. She's nearly 66, divorced, and lives alone but still works part-time. Despite being active, she clearly dislikes me. To her, I'm the woman who stole her beloved youngest son. Once, when Jake and I visited her, she turned to me with a sharp look after he stepped away. "Sarah, hasn't Jake gained weight?" I shook my head. "I don't think so." "Oh, he definitely has. It's your job to keep him healthy. If he gains weight, he'll get sick. What are you feeding him?" "Greasy fast food." I was taken aback. I always try to cook balanced meals, but I can't control what Jake eats when he's out with his friends or at work. "Maybe you should talk to him about it directly," I suggested, trying to stay calm. "What? That would hurt his feelings." "It's your duty to look after him," she snapped. I sighed inwardly. Do I really need to babysit a grown man? When Jake returned, I asked, "Have you gained weight recently?" "Huh? No, actually, I've lost a bit," he replied. The atmosphere turned cold. My mother-in-law's face drained of color. "Lost weight? Sarah, are you starving him?" She accused me of not feeding him enough, and Jake looked confused. "Mom, that's not true. Everything's fine," he said. But she wouldn't stop. "If people start gossiping that you're a bad wife because Jake looks too skinny, it's your fault, Sarah," she added. I was speechless. No matter what I did, it seemed like I was to blame. Visiting her for dinner didn't fare any better. She insisted we come over often, so we did, mostly out of politeness. She served beautifully plated seasonal dishes, fresh raw fish, vegetables, corn soup, and fried rice. Everyone was served except me. I was given only tea. I tried to clarify. I didn't say I wasn't hungry. "Oh, but you said you didn't want anything, didn't you?" She feigned innocence. "I didn't say that." "Well, sorry, I must have misunderstood. You know, I'm just an old lady." At first, I believed her, but the pattern repeated. She'd apologize, claiming, "I'm just a forgetful old woman," leaving me unable to call her out without looking petty. Finally, I'd had enough. After being served only tea for the 3rd time, I stood up. "Let me help, Mom," I said, heading to the kitchen. I helped myself to some rice and soup and grabbed a few side dishes from Jake's plate. She frowned. "Sarah, I told you to stay out of the kitchen, and now you're taking your husband's food?" I smiled sweetly. "Your cooking is just too good to resist." Jake looked uncomfortable but spoke up. "Mom, this isn't like you. There's no reason to give Sarah a hard time." "Oh no, it's not like that," she stammered. "It's just an old habit. I must have miscounted." Her excuse was weak, and I knew by then that her actions were deliberate. Next time, she prepared chicken and eggs for the main course, foods I couldn't eat due to allergies. I stared at my cup of tea, unsure what to do, when Jake spoke up. "Mom, you remember Sarah can't eat chicken and eggs, right? Did you make something else for her?" Caught off guard, she stammered, "Oh, of course. I thought I'd order takeout for her." "Sarah, pick whatever you'd like." I smiled. "Thank you. I'll have fries." Her face twitched, but she couldn't back out. When the fries arrived late, I enjoyed them, ignoring her displeasure. Small victories like this reminded me to stay strong. One day, I'd make her realize that respect must go both ways. I slightly regretted ordering fries, knowing she'd probably say, "Fries are for children." I also didn't mention I could eat eggs as long as they weren't raw. No need to give her more ammunition. The petty battles continued. One time, I brought homemade dishes as a gesture of sharing. I made seasoned rice and simmered vegetables, packing them neatly. I thought, at least if there's no meal for me, I can eat this. But my mother-in-law was one step ahead. "Why did you bring something so dirty?" she asked, looking disgusted. "Dirty?" I was surprised. "It's just rice and vegetables." "You should think about presentation," she said, sounding like a self-proclaimed aristocrat. "But it's delicious," I countered. "I came up with the recipe myself." "You have no taste," she said bluntly. "So careless and no sense of refinement." This time she didn't hold back and insulted me directly. Then, as if to add insult to injury, she picked up my container and dumped its contents into the trash. "It had gone bad," she said dismissively. My anger surged. "That's not possible." At that moment, Jake walked in. "Why are you shouting?" My mother-in-law's fierce expression instantly morphed into a sweet smile. "Oh, Sarah's cooking had gone bad, so I threw it out." Jake frowned. "That's too bad. It's usually tasty." "Tasty? That brown food?" she muttered under her breath. I was furious. Wasting food was something I couldn't forgive. That day, as usual, I only had tea. I drank it defiantly while my mother-in-law smirked, clearly enjoying my frustration. A week later, we gathered for my niece's birthday. Jake's brothers, their families, and relatives we hadn't seen in a while were there. The atmosphere was lively and the table was set with appetizers, soup, salad, steak, mashed potatoes, and desserts, restaurant-quality dishes. Everyone marveled at the spread, exclaiming, "Wow, this looks amazing!" And so luxurious. Pleased with the praise, my mother-in-law said, "I indulge because it's been so long since the whole family got together. Let's enjoy these dishes together." But at my seat, as always, there was only tea. My mother-in-law peeked out from behind a sliding door, smirking at me. Even on such a joyful occasion, she found a way to torment me. I felt conflicted. If I pointed out the lack of food at my place, the relatives might offer to share, giving her an excuse to claim, "Oh, I must have forgotten. Silly me." Then she'd likely whisper behind my back, "Sarah, so greedy." As I sipped my tea, anger boiled inside me. I wanted her to recognize her childishness and apologize, but she just kept smirking, clearly enjoying my unease. Eventually, I stood up. "Thank you for the meal. It seems I'm not considered part of the family, so I'll be leaving now. Please enjoy the rest of your time." The room went silent, and relatives exchanged puzzled looks, murmuring among themselves. "What's going on? Is something wrong?" someone asked, pretending not to know. My mother-in-law tilted her head. "Oh, what's this, Sarah? No meal for me?" I said flatly. Her face shifted into exaggerated surprise. "Oops, how careless of me," she said with mock sweetness. "Here it is." She handed me a tray with egg salad, omelets, and pudding, things I couldn't eat because of my egg allergy. My stomach dropped. This was no accident. Jake noticed and stepped in. "Mom, you know Sarah can't eat eggs." Feigning shock, she gasped. "Oh, I didn't order this. Maybe the restaurant made a mistake." I kept calm, but my anger was building. Just then, my niece glanced at the tray and piped up, "Can I have some?" The kids at the table, who weren't fans of the rare steak, eagerly traded their dishes for the egg-based ones. Now, in front of me, there was a perfectly cooked steak with sides. "Well then," I said with a forced smile, picking up my knife and fork, "thank you for the food." Before I could take a bite, my mother-in-law interjected. "Oh, you must not know. Normally, daughters-in-law only eat appetizers." Her words echoed in the room. I froze, knife and fork still in hand. Finally, she revealed her true nature. Seizing the moment, she grabbed my steak and sides. "You should have given food to the kids. They need to eat everything, including their steaks." Her malicious smile sent a chill through me. The other daughters-in-law exchanged uneasy glances, murmuring their apologies. "I'm sorry for eating the steak, even though I'm just the daughter-in-law." "I'm sorry for drinking the soup, even though I'm just the daughter-in-law." "I'm sorry for eating the mashed potatoes, even though I'm just the daughter-in-law." The room filled with uncomfortable apologies. No, that's not what I meant," my mother-in-law stammered. "When I said daughter-in-law, I meant Sarah." The other daughters-in-law stared at her coldly. "We're daughters-in-law too? Does that mean we're not family?" Her face turned red. I took a deep breath and addressed the room. "Every time we visit, Mother always serves me tea. That's it. It's clear I'm not considered part of the family. But this is too much. You knew about my egg allergy and still did this. It's deliberate." Whispers of disapproval spread like wildfire. My mother-in-law's feeble attempt to justify herself fell flat. "Oh, I completely forgot about your allergies, Sarah. I could have sworn you liked eggs, but maybe I was mistaken," she said, playing innocent. "You just said you didn't order this, didn't you?" I shot back, my frustration bubbling over. "Did I say that? Did I really?" She mumbled, her lies slowly unraveling. "You did this on purpose, didn't you? You've always treated me this way." Jake spoke up, his voice cutting through the tension. "Mom, this isn't right." Her face drained of color. "It's not like that at all," she cried, but the truth was already out. "So, have you never really considered Sarah part of the family?" Jake asked, his voice steady yet tinged with disappointment. "Then I guess I'm not family either. Sorry for thinking I was." Her expression crumpled and her sons exchanged stunned glances. Jake's brothers piped up. "Mom, what's going on? Are you harassing Sarah like this?" One asked. "No, it's just Sarah," she blurted, revealing her true feelings. Sensing the shift, the relatives quietly finished their meals and began leaving the table one by one. The daughters-in-law placed money on the table, signaling their resignation. My mother-in-law faltered. "I hadn't meant for it to come out like that," she stammered, but the damage was done. The egg dishes remained untouched, a silent symbol of her cruelty. I glanced at Jake, who gave me a small, reassuring nod. I picked up my fork. "This is delicious," I said after taking a bite. "The omelet has a wonderful aroma." My tone was casual, but the words carried weight. "Sarah, stop eating that." My mother-in-law screamed, trying to snatch the plate away. Jake held her back, his voice firm. "Mom, you need to apologize. If it wasn't Sarah, it could have been anyone, and they might not have handled this as well as she did." Her bitterness twisted her face. "Yes, I knew about her allergy. I didn't like her. She took my last son away from me." The room fell silent. "I wasn't ready to let him go," she continued, her voice cracking. "I wanted him to stay here with me." Jake's expression hardened. "Mom, I'm 40 years old. What did you expect? That I'd live here until I was 50? 60. She had no response. Any sympathy she might have received evaporated at that moment. The delivery man arrived, collecting the trays. "Oh, I didn't realize this was your house," he said to me, surprised. "I thought it was just another delivery." I smiled politely. "It's my in-laws' house, but I've recognized your restaurant's food. I'm a frequent customer." My mother-in-law's confusion deepened. "Wait, what do you mean?" I said, meeting her gaze, "I've been coming by your restaurant because you never prepare meals for me." The delivery man, unaware of the tension, chuckled. "Oh, so you're the famous daughter-in-law, the one who never gets her meals." Her face went ashen. "That's enough," she snapped, trying to slam the door, but the damage was already done. Jake sighed, disappointment clear in his eyes. "Mom, it's time. I stopped visiting. We won't be back." "Don't say that," she pleaded, desperation creeping into her voice. "Just come." Jake shook his head. "No, Mom. My wife is my family, and if she's not welcome, neither am I." Her protests faded into silence as we walked out of the house. From that moment on, Jake's brothers and their wives began distancing themselves. They had been mistreated but had remained silent until now. Despite her desperate attempts to contact Jake, he remained resolute. "Mom, I don't need your cooking anymore. We won't be coming back for a while." Over time, her relationships with the family unraveled, leaving her isolated by her own actions. Meanwhile, Jake and I moved forward, ready for a new chapter, one built on respect, love, and shared meals.